Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of Deja Vu, presented by Absolute Stone Design. I'm your host, Nathan Heintschel. Before we kick things off, we hope all of you in the RVA community are well and helping stop the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now I'm pleased to introduce my guests, Mutaya Mwape and Kyle Venter. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
No, pretty good.
Yeah, doing well. That was a good intro, Nate.
I do what I can. It's
You were prepping that all day, weren't you?
Oh yeah, the whole time. Just with my notes app, getting ready to go.
Yeah, you go in front of the mirror.
Hey, I mean, between doing my hair and then putting together a couple sentences, that's
why I went. That's why I went with the hat.
Yeah, that's why they pay me the media. So, guys, how are we doing? A couple weeks of training under your belt now, and just the smaller groups. How's that been going for you?
Mutaya, you want to hit that one?
It's been a little bit different, but we're trying to get back into things a little bit different, but we're just getting used to it. It's a new normal, so yeah.
Yeah, I would say you're spot on. I think anything that gets us closer to getting back into games, which we all hope is soon. I think we're all for it. It is different. It's awesome being able to see a few of the coaches, few of the guys, and just be back on City Stadium and kind of back in that environment. So, like I said, I'm ecstatic just to be out there, 3 or 4 days a week, and enjoying the guys.
Yeah. And when we first went into the training moratoriums, working from home and everything like that, you guys were just stuck doing Zoom workouts and things like that. So even just having that structure has probably been pretty beneficial, right?
Yeah. I mean, I will say this: our staff worked really hard through those 8 weeks that we were kind of doing the individual workouts, putting together a plan for us, and so we were well taken care of as far as our workouts and staying as fit as we could. And some guys recovering, some guys, just putting in that work. So I think it shows right now when you see these guys out on the field, and you can see, like, obviously, like, this team put in the work, and we're, like I said, we're getting ready to go. Whenever they give us the green light to get back to team training and get close to return to play. So.
Yeah, excellent. And I'm sure you guys are nice and limber too from doing your Thursday yoga sessions with Kara Fitzgerald, our certified yoga teacher for the team.
I know Mutaya loves it.
Yeah, it's my favorite day of the week. Just trying to get flexible every day. So he's been doing a great job. I always look forward to Thursdays.
Yeah, I would say, like, I always have an excuse why I haven't done yoga in the past. But now, no excuse now. It's great seeing the guys on Thursdays. A little bit of banter at the beginning, a little talk from the coach, and then we're off with the Kira, getting ready for the next couple of days. So it's been cool.
Yeah, I noticed when I did the P90X3 workout program, they always had at the end of the week, it was yoga, and it almost feels intimidating if you've never done it before, and then you kind of get into the vibe of it, and you start surprising yourself with how flexible you can be. It's surprisingly a great workout too. So glad you guys have been able to do that on even just through something as, impersonal as Zoom. At the very least, it's still something, like, I remember Zev Tablib telling me that it's still something you can do as a team, learning how to breathe as a team just on the Zoom chat. So it's cool that that's been one way to keep that camaraderie up, even when you guys have been apart.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. Me as an athlete, I'm sure a lot of other guys are the same. Like, you're always looking for that other thing that can take you to, another level. And so obviously taking care of our bodies is a big portion of that. And so, a yoga, like I said, some guys are more into it than others, but I don't think it's anything bad. Like you said, there's some poses that you use a little more strength, as well as you're getting flexible. And then obviously there's the stretching and the flexibility part of it. So, like I said, I've found it beneficial, and I know a lot of the other guys have as well.
Yeah. Mutaya, can you do the headstand yet?
Can I do the what?
Can you do the handstand or the headstand yoga pose? Is Kira got you guys doing those intermediate and advanced?
Not yet. I'm still working on that. You have to be a little bit advanced in order to do that. So I'm still working on it.
You got to
soon enough.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be in tune with your body for that one. Akira gives us a little something new every week, but I think that might be towards the end of the season, to be honest with you. It depends where we're at on that.
Yeah, maybe graduate to like Warrior 2 or Warrior 3 by July, and then go from there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you got your vinyasa down, that's the base point right there.
That's where he started us with.
Yep, always very important. Well, so this is a deja vu, so we're here to talk about the match against Orlando City B that was on October 5th, 2019. We won't bore you with too much yoga talk unless it comes back up again, in which case there's at least one or two yogis, I think, that are watching this are pretty
Has to be. Yeah,
definitely. So yeah, we'll get into it. This was our season finale last year. Of course, everybody remembers it, I think, in the Richmond community as Braden Troyer's last game. But if you get past that part too, you kind of realize when you look in the stats, this was a resounding success for Richmond. It was a great way to kind of cap off a season that had its fluctuations. It didn't go the way we wanted, but I think this was a total team win across the board between the stats and the performances. So I just get started off. Mutaya, one of the reasons why you're on here is because you had an incredible game that day. So kind of give us an insight as to how you felt walking into that game, knowing, it was the last match, it was Braden Troyer's last match, and you just kind of wanted to finish off strong.
There was a lot of emotions going on. We just wanted to, because we didn't make the playoffs, it was kind of hard, but we just wanted to come out and play and do it for the fans, get a couple goals and just get everybody excited again. So we just wanted to go out on a win and send Braden Troyer, with something to think about. So it was a good day overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Braden Troyer is a warrior, as we all know. And then to get your perspective, Kyle, of course, you were on FC Tucson last year. So when you guys played Orlando City B, what were some of the things that you kind of looked for as you prepared for any kind of match with the MLS affiliate?
Yeah, they treated it a little bit different than some of the other MLS2 teams. They didn't really get a lot of interchange between their first team and the second team. They very much let their second team play. And with that, they had a lot of young, raw athletic talent. So we knew the biggest part about them, I would say that they were young. And so a big part of our idea was that use our experience, in a game to take advantage of that, manage moments, and knowing that they were young and a little bit undisciplined at times. They will give you opportunities. Whatever that form comes in, it's different. Sometimes maybe it's a set piece, maybe it's a counterattack, maybe it's just giving away the ball. But I will say at the same time, they changed the way they play a little bit from the beginning to the end of the season because they went through a coaching change as well. So at the beginning of the season, they played out of everything. They played out of free kicks. They played out of corner kicks. They didn't serve that kind of stuff. And then towards the end of the season, I think that coach came in, made it a little more practical, and they started serving some of that stuff in. But, they had a few really young, talented players that, if you weren't together and you weren't compact and things like that, and and getting pressure on them, they could pick some passes apart and get you chasing over the field. They had that kind of talent, that kind of individual brilliance. So you do your best to manage it. And so,
yeah, and I'd say Kickers fans became rather familiar with it in the 3-2 loss that we played in Orlando. That was a back and forth, barn burner. A 5-goal game is not something you always see in the USL League One, at least last year in the inaugural season. But yeah, you could tell they've got guys that could just fly up the wings and really change the game. So like you were saying, if you're not staying organized for the full 90, they could punish you even if you weren't expecting it.
Absolutely.
Sure.
All right. So getting the game pulled up here. Shout outs to USL League One for making everything digital and easy to access. Definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Oh, there it is.
There it
the
is.
Old skyline.
Overcast.
Beautiful city.
I'll tell you what, that shot needs to be updated. We got one less building in the skyline now after this morning.
I saw that yesterday. What was it? Just big demolition downtown or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they had announced it Dominion had built a brand new headquarters building in the city, and they had the old building that I guess they just determined it was cheaper to blow up than renovate. So anybody who bought the Skyline scarf, I can't promise that we can do an updated, free new one for you, but keep it as a memento.
You'll have to do you'll have to do a self update and just cross it out.
Exactly.
These are those highlights of that one down there. Yeah,
exactly. What were your thoughts from that match, Mutaya, the first match against Orlando when you guys went down to South Florida for that one?
I think going into Orlando, we thought it was going to be an easy game. We didn't start well. We started just thinking like it was going to be an easy game. We're going to win. Then they kind of picked it up a little bit, another gear. Like, but by the time we realized it was like 2-0. So I think just like the mentality when we went into that game wasn't that good. So
love how many numbers you guys had in the box there.
Yeah.
That's a Darren Sawatsky right there.
Well, that was a kind of the vibe that you watched as the game ebbed and flowed. Orlando took that lead early on, but proving that 2-0 is the most dangerous lead. I mean, the kickers really came back in that one, and you had the goal from Josh Hughes, and I believe Eli Lockaby had the other goal, and it was one of those things where you just kind of switched up the strategy, and all of a sudden you started punishing Orlando even in the way that they got you guys in the first half.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, then we got unlucky with the PK, so yeah.
Good finish by Chin. Good ball in.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but
was that Wahab? No, that wasn't Wahab playing that ball, was it?
Might have been.
What's he doing up on the wing?
Hey, I'll tell you what. From watching all the games at City Stadium last year, Wahab, he has the ability to maraud up the pitch if he really wants to, and
I know he does.
Playing a ball on a dime.
I know he does. He put up a little highlight of a game against Tucson last year where he kind of went forward a little bit and he tried to chip our keeper like a bending chip from about 30, 40 yards out. I remember commenting on it. I can't remember what I said on it, but kind of along the lines of, "What are you thinking?" Even though he almost pulled it off.
Yeah, and even doing the CBS promo for the social distancing with him, just him and Akira juggling back and forth. I think a lot of people would assume because he's a center back, he doesn't have necessarily skills on the ball, but that is absolutely not the case.
Oh yeah, Wahab can. I mean, even in all our practices, Wahab through preseason continued to surprise me when the stuff that he would get out of. Super talented as far as technical side of a center back.
Says he used to be a striker, so
yeah,
so he gets stuff from.
Yeah. Growing up when you're like 5 or 6 doesn't count, but we all started off as strikers.
Yeah.
then you get into the realistic side of things, and you go, you know what? That's probably not anymore.
Yeah, growing up playing youth league, I was a forward until you actually had to have some endurance, and all of a sudden I found myself as the goalie. So.
It affects us all differently, Nathan.
I like to think we can all play both sides of the field there.
Fair enough.
Man, so Mutaya, how was that shoot for the opening commercial last year? Was it as hot as it was for the team picture?
No. The team picture was the worst because we just came out of training. Everyone was hungry. Everyone wanted to go home, and he just kept on moving us from one place to another. It was pretty tough. The shoot was decent. Everything just went smooth and quick, and so it wasn't that too bad.
Yeah, that's one of those ones you can always count on our team photographer, Jessica Hendricks, to throw it down pretty well with the camera. Yeah. It's just a matter of doing a photo shoot in the middle of July after training is always tough for anybody.
Yeah, it was tough. We kind of went on a hike for maybe 2 miles or something. So everyone was just complaining, just trying to go home. It's tough.
Yeah. Hey, at least we got good shots. I've got the one picture right behind me, right there in front of the Capitol. Of course, we had the alternate photo on the rocks near the James River. When you got these kinds of landmarks, you got to take advantage. You know.
Nathan,
Sure.
do you have a picture of Penn FC by the Capitol?
I probably have it sitting somewhere. For those who don't know,
in a box somewhere.
Yeah, in storage, never to be seen again.
Yeah.
For those who aren't aware, I am the former lead journalist for Penn FC. Kyle and I have history because he's a former defender for the club as well. So we always reminisce about our time together in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. What a time to be alive it was.
Beautiful this time of the year, isn't it?
Oh yeah, this is about when the mayflies start to come out. So you know that it actually starts to get darker in the stadium because they cover up the lights.
Look at Matt Spear watching from the neighborhood pool with a beer. That is the life.
We would like to remind our team president to always make sure you're drinking water with that. We don't want you to get dehydrated. Had another comment pop up earlier too. Zach Perez, who actually played in this game. Hope he's doing well. Glad to see he's joining us for the broadcast. Had quite the game, actually. I believe it was his debut or his first start for the Kickers last year. So great to watch him play that match.
Yeah,
3/4 of the way through the season signing. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Mutaya, what was your guys' kind of? I mean, I know you guys obviously like with David last year, you guys like to play a lot. What was your guys' kind of game plan coming in against Orlando, especially in this like last game? I know maybe in the beginning part of the season it might be different, but this last game, what were you guys looking to do?
The last game, we just try to press them and put them under pressure as much as we can, because we just saw like they made a lot of mistakes if they were being pressured. Mm-hmm. So that's what we just went crazy, just pressing everywhere. So and it kind of worked out. Yeah. No,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, with the younger team, like I said, they do try to play out of a lot. So I think a lot of teams tried to press them, knowing that you might not always be successful, but they will give you the ball at times.
Yeah.
And you can create something off it. So.
And there's the keeper who will live potentially in infamy for Richmond Kickers fans. As we all remember, the first match at City Stadium last year, he had ran all the way down the field to have a conversation with Akira Fitzgerald. Not sure if you guys remember that, but
I don't. I missed that one.
Yeah, kind of speak to it a little bit. Just that what it was like to play against those guys in Orlando. Just with them being young professionals, and they were clearly trying to figure some things out, and they had a frustrating season last year. So, did it get chippy on the field? Was it something you had to prepare for mentally, just knowing how they were going to act on the field?
Yeah, a little bit. They try to talk too much, and we just try to do our thing. So young players, they kind of got intimidated a little bit, so they thought they should just talk and maybe it will work out for them. So it was always tough, but you just have to be prepared mentally and just do your thing.
I think like any young player, you're full of energy and vigor, and as long as you're in the game, you continue that, and you keep running around and trying to do everything, but you put a goal or you make the team run around a little bit, you can take that out of them. And I think that's kind of what I was speaking to as far as using your experience as a professional, maybe a little bit older, a little bit more experienced, being able to take that energy out of them and let the game calm down and then get it on your terms.
Yeah, for sure.
The perks of having that veteran presence then.
Yeah, I think the worst one was when we went to Toronto. We were in the tunnel trying to go to the field. These guys were just screaming on top of their lungs, getting to our faces, and couldn't really do anything. So they were just talking so much. So and we ended up beating them. So it was pretty funny. So
Toronto's an interesting trip. I mean, you're always playing at 4:00, right when their first team trainings are always wrapping up, and so all the coaches are out on the balconies, watching everybody, and obviously that's their biggest audience is the coaching staff watching them. And a few of them, I mean, to their credit, got shots with the first team last year, which is what you want your club to to do is generate those players. So credit to them, but it's always an interesting trip for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprised you got to hear all the trash talk with the planes flying overhead.
Yeah, right over, what is it, Pearson International or whatever it is.
Yeah, it always seems like it's an interesting trip when you got to play Toronto FC too. Like, I once again pulling from that Penn FC experience. I remember, Kyle, you guys played was that like a midweek match or maybe even a Friday match at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon?
Oh, but it was, yeah. I mean, it was a weird game, but as far as like, it was the school day game, and so some of the clubs around the country, and I know I was a part of one when I was in Ottawa as well. But yeah, game's at about 10:30. Was that you, Mutaya? Was that you trying to hit that free kick?
Oh yeah.
Gonna go. But yeah, anyways, it was a school day game, and yeah, I mean, like the crowd was packed. I mean, it was an unreal atmosphere, and they had some Drake songs blaring, so the crowd, all these kids were into it, unbelievable, and crazy game. But we were able to come out with a win, which is even better. But those school day games are always weird because you play at like 10:30 or something like that, which as a professional you don't do much. So taking it all the way back to when you're a kid and you're playing like 10:30 games on a weekend in a tournament, and all that kind of stuff. So it was different.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to watch too. It just remembering like my facilities management class from my master's program, the whole like having a safe zone on a basketball court, so that way you don't have players just colliding into people. And they were just sitting those kids down like, I don't know, within 3 feet of.
Yep, they were right on the field.
Yeah. We'll never forget that Miguel Jaime shot from was that past half field, and it just kind of drifted in, beat the keeper.
Yeah, well, I mean, sadly, on that the keeper ended up tearing his Achilles, so he didn't really get the lift off on the thing. But yeah, I mean, I gave him the assist, I set him up for that, so it's a team effort. But now you guys are pinging it around here. You were pressing him here.
Yeah, that was the game plan, just pressing them everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just pulling up the Opta stats, like the final, kickers had almost 62% possession in the game, and you guys were winning on both aerial and regular duels as well. So it just seemed like it was definitely your guys' night. You were just really pushing it to Orlando and making it uncomfortable for them. They could never really set up their game plan.
Yeah. I feel like that's one thing we didn't do in the first game. Just putting them under pressure. We kind of like respected them a little bit the first half. Then we realized when it was like already too late. So
not the best goal kick there.
Yeah, so we'll get a little perspective too from you, Kyle. I know you've spoken about before on interviews, but of course, you've played at Richmond a couple times, whether it be, with Penn FC or with FC Tucson. What's always been kind of your vibe when you're at City Stadium as the opponent?
Well, we were kind of joking before we got on, came live here about the amount of thunderstorms or possibility of thunderstorms before every game. So there's always that, I'm not going to call it a threat, but possibility that it might delay the game. We've never had a game canceled, so you're gonna play. It's just a matter of that possibility. But I mean, there's always been a good atmosphere. Like whether I've come down with Ottawa, Penn FC, or Tucson last year. The Red Army's in that corner and causing chaos, and it's always been tough. Whether it was last year with David as coach or with Lee with being the head coach the years before. So it's never easy. Never easy for sure. So.
Yeah, as you were talking about your experiences at City Stadium too, we a nice little tackle there by Wahab to force the goal kick there. Love to see him enforcing his will
exactly
on the opposing team. So, and as this game progresses too, we'd like to reiterate to fans that are watching, please leave your comments, Facebook or Twitter. If you got any questions for Mutaya or Kyle, we'd love to answer them for you. And just make this a fun talkative atmosphere here. Anything you got for the Kickers, City Stadium, how things have been going. Love to chat with you. Do have a comment from Chris Hampson. I'd like to thank you, 1, for watching, and 2, I would like to point out that, yes, that is a Man U flag right behind me. Sorry.
Getting ready to get going again.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's a weird situation with what they've got going on, trying to, do the games behind closed doors and pump in crowd noise. But at the end of the day, I'm still pretty excited to see the team get back out on the field too.
Absolutely. The amount of games that we're going to see, and obviously, Serie A, Bundesliga, La Liga, and the Premier League is going to be outrageous. So I know I'm looking forward to it.
Have you guys gotten a chance to watch any of the Bundesliga games since they've restarted?
Yeah, a couple. Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah.
Saturdays we have training in the morning, so it's kind of tough.
Yeah, on the weekends it's tough. Some of the midweek games, it might be a little bit easier because the games aren't until probably 2:30 Eastern. So I think most of the guys were done by then. It just kind of depends what game's on. But I know I've watched a good bit, so it's exciting. Just like, I don't know what it's going to look like for us whenever we're back, but it's a different challenge. Obviously people are always talking about no fans and things like that, but I look at it in a sense of, you want to talk about these professionals. A lot of these guys are always used to playing. Mutaya, what happened, dude?
I got kicked by the goalie. I was trying to.
Oh man, you need the trainer for this one.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair enough. But yeah, what I was kind of getting at is, like, obviously these players over there in Europe are used to these massive stadiums filled up with fans, and I think it's an interesting mental challenge of, like, can you still elevate yourself to the level that you need to be at to perform without that? So you almost have to create the atmosphere by yourself, whether it's a team and the players on the field. So I found it really interesting because I don't understand German, but hearing all the talk and all that kind of stuff and seeing how the players perform. So it's been interesting to see that side of the challenge as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and trying to tie it back to you guys too. I think something that we're starting to notice as the Bundesliga is getting into, I think it's probably their 3rd or 4th match week now since returning. Definitely some of the guys are starting to pick up those, soft tissue injuries, some knocks just from, the difficulty of trying to go from being conditioned to having a couple weeks off to then trying to force yourself to be reconditioned again on a, basically a short mini preseason. What would be your kind of approach to, I know we were starting to really peak in our preseason training, from all accounts, talking to Darren, like we were ready to go March 28th. So how has it been for you guys trying to start working yourselves back into that shape and trying to get, game ready without the prospect of having like scrimmages right now with other teams and things like that?
Go ahead, Mutaya.
I think it's kind of tough when you're working out on your own, or you're working out in like small groups, than when you go out to, like, playing into a bigger field or training with everybody else. But we've been doing a lot of fitness, and that's been happening a little bit. So, because like if we start training and we start playing games, we're gonna play games maybe 2 or 3 games a week, and that's gonna be tough. So right now we're just emphasizing everything on fitness. So, which has been pretty tough, but I think that's a way to go about it. Just get a lot of fitness, so when the games start, you're able to go.
Yeah, no, and I'll touch on that as well. I think it revolves a lot around the work that we've put in over the 8 weeks by ourselves, like which Mutaya alluded to. It's not easy. You have to push yourself a lot. A lot of the times you're working out by yourself and that kind of stuff. But so a lot of it goes to that work, and then the work we're doing now is what we can do, small groups, as well as it's ball work and it's fitness. You have to get your body ready for the load that it's going to go under. When we do get back into kind of full team training and we get prepping for those games. So a lot of it's just getting your body acclimated back into that competition piece and that sharpness, both, physically and mentally. So we're getting there. But I think, we still got probably a good couple weeks before we got to play a game. So
just making sure you're staying hydrated and get that potassium in with the orange slices and banana slices, right?
Yeah, club's taking care of us. We got some refreshments afterwards, so we're doing all right.
Excellent.
We got Gigo. Gigo is looking up for us every day. So
yeah, our athletic trainers got us now. Orlando's just sitting in that deeper block, aren't they?
Yeah.
You guys have been patient though.
Was that Charles trying to do the bike?
For a second, he's not as small as you, so I thought it was you for a second, but I saw you hanging out on the back post.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Bullduck? Who was that?
I thought that was great.
Was that Greggy getting in? Oh, that's Bullduck out wide. Good ball by Braden. Oh, Greggy.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Oh, great ball.
You gotta love what Braden brings to the field there, being able to play both destroyer and maestro at the pivot.
Yeah.
There.
I tell you what, that is a tough balance to strike. That's difficult.
I think he brought something different to the team. Like, most sixes is just concentrate on the defensively, but with the ball he was actually like definitely like one of the best players, like technically, like never lost the ball, like and defensively, like he was one of the best defenders on the field too. So I think every time we played, Braden was there, like we actually like had a shot. So
got a good counter. Oh, fizzled out. Good little counterattack there.
Oh,
that was great.
Another appearance by Greg Bain over here.
I know Greg's getting a lot of love here.
Yeah. Already asserting his will on the Orlando City backline, making it pretty nervous for him.
Is those midfield runs.
And I think it's interesting too, watching, kind of how fluid the forward line was. You see Daniel Jackson start to drift off a lot into the left wing to create space for somebody else to cut in. When you're playing on the wing, Mutaya, is that kind of what you like to do, is be able to cut in almost Ronaldo style, or do you like to play out wide and be more of a facilitator?
I like to cut in. I like to play on my right so I can cut into my left so I can shoot. Then if I go to my right, I can cross as well. So
no, I think playing against them last year, I think that's what made Richmond very, hard to deal with, was one, the kind of possession style, but as well as the fluidity in their attacking players in their midfield. I mean, some teams play very rigid and you kind of know where players are going to be, but when you had, Daniel Jackson coming off the line and checking in, and then somebody else filling space, or Dennis Chin floating wide, coming inside, like Mutaya, all these guys, Gallardo, and these guys coming in and out and dropping deep, it gets tough to keep track of, and you got to really be on your toes, if you're going to be successful against them.
Yeah, and is there any kind of adjustments that you feel like you need to make as a center back when you're kind of expecting to have that bulkier number 9 up in the middle, and then all of a sudden he's switching out near the fullback, and you've got maybe a speedier, smaller winger coming in at you?
Yeah, it depends where the ball's at. It's each situation is different. I would say that your mindset changes. I think you can solve a lot through communication. Telling your midfielder to, your 6 or your 8 in front of you, to pick up the forward checking off the line, and you basically just switch. But did Wahab clear that off the line, or did Kira say that?
I think so.
But oh my goodness, keepers are everywhere.
Manuel Neuer over here.
I know. But it's just every situation is different. I mean, teams it also depends. Like, some teams don't have a method to the madness, in the sense of their forwards just go to check off the line just to go get a touch on the ball, and it's not really to draw numbers anywhere or free up space for anybody. So some teams just do it to do it because they feel lonely and they want to get a touch on the ball, and other teams are very calculated with what they do and they're trying to drag somebody out so then somebody else can fill space. So some teams are better at it than the others, but it definitely shifts your thinking as a game. You have to be fluid in the way you think, and you got to be a problem solver. And so it all changes.
Yeah, and you got to love what you're seeing early on here too. As you guys started to really ramp up the pressure on Orlando, looked like Bulow and the defense felt a lot more comfortable just starting to play that line a little bit higher, so that way, you can catch them on the offsides trap and things like that.
Connor spraying a ball. Yeah, that's good. I mean, if you're making a team that wants to play, do that. I mean, you got them on the back foot. You got them pinned in.
Yeah, it's just got to be that much more dangerous then too when you can see the distribution abilities of Wahab and Connor, and then Braden Troyer playing right ahead of them too. Like I got to think that really makes things hairy for a defense when you got to worry about not only who's in front of you, but who knows where that ball could be coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it allows is those attacking players to push higher and trust the fact that those guys can get them the ball. I think sometimes you see when you're ever like I said, like if there's a method to the madness, it makes a lot more sense. If you have guys that are checking off that forward line just to go get a touch on the ball or think that they need to go create the game because they don't necessarily think that their six or their center back can do that, I think you pull numbers away from that attacking side and it becomes harder to pin teams in. But what you've seen so far is that a lot of trust in those guys in the back to distribute the ball. You're able to get more numbers in the attack and pin Orlando in. And that's been good to see.
Yeah, just in the first 21 minutes, it just doesn't look like Orlando ever got comfortable with it. Whether it was just trying to play out of the back long enough to maybe relieve some of the pressure from us, and then kind of just spraying balls out to the wing or up, hoping that somebody gets ahead of it. Seems like so far just playing that defensive structure that kickers are playing, it worked out quite well in your guys' favor.
Yeah, and I think you see right now, I mean, Orlando's got numbers behind the ball. It's making it really tough for Richmond to play through the middle. So a lot of what they're seeing is finding these wide areas or trying to, whether it's shift them to one side and find a bigger pass diagonal to the other side, or just overload and build down one side. So there's a lot of energy in the first 20 minutes or so. So I think like with anybody, early on, it's easy to keep your shape, but it's as the game goes on, does the work that Richmond's doing wear on Orlando, and now those gaps down the middle become bigger, and you can play through those. Yeah, but good commitment there. I mean, ball turns over, 4 or 5 guys all around the ball, counter pressing. Well done. Is that Charles with the right foot, Mutaya?
Yeah, he's actually with it.
I know that wasn't your right foot.
No, definitely not. Low key, I have a right foot though. People kind of like underrated, but low key, I have a right foot. It's there when I need it.
Hey, as long as it's there when you need it, not when you want it, when you need it.
Yeah, when I need it.
Yeah, not to spoil anything that's going to happen in maybe the next 15-ish minutes, but Charles was all over the place in this game, and when he got a chance to start up front, he definitely brought something a little different, I think, to the attack last year. We saw it obviously in the Open Cup against Virginia United. What is it about his game, Mutaya, that makes it easier for you in your position, trying to either distribute the ball or find yourself in open space in the attack with his runs? Like what is it about his game that you guys pair up well?
I think he's like an all-around player. He can play in tight spaces. He can make runs in behind, and he can play as more of like a 10. So I think it's kind of easy when you play with somebody like that. They kind of like offer you different runs, not like the same thing over and over. Like if I'm a winger, I just don't want to a striker come in like feet every time. So I think with him, like he offers like a lot of things. Runs in behind. He's pretty quick. He can play in tight spaces and do 1-2s. So I think that kind of like I think Kyle can touch on that too. Like if you're a defender, you have a striker like that can do a lot of things. It's kind of tough.
Absolutely. Anybody that makes it predictable on you, it just simplifies your job. And this, well, just to touch on, this is what you get out of Orlando City at times, is that young aggression, and they go flying into some stuff like that. So that's just a touch of what can happen. It's not to say that they're the dirty team or anything like that. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of other stuff going on, and they go flying into stuff like that. But yeah, Charles, even from just like our 6 weeks of preseason so far, I mean, Mutaya hit a spot on the head. He's super unpredictable and goes both ways. Checks two, goes in behind, and I think that makes it tough to keep track of, and it fits well into this Richmond system. Like I said, with that fluidity on the front line of checking in, going in behind, going wide, and then other guys feeding off that and filling those spaces.
Yeah, and even talking about that young aggression from Orlando, you got to give another shout out to our guy Zach Perez there, who he himself, a young player, just picked himself up, just walked off. You love to see that kind of patience and resolve from a young player like Zach.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I love that ball.
Woo!
Oh, what a ball through. Yeah, I think I mean that's one thing when you do get into those little matches, and it doesn't even have to be a young team. It's in games. I mean, there's certain times where you got to stand up for yourself, and then there's other times where you don't. There's that mental toughness piece of you don't show them you're hurt, and you get up. It doesn't bother you. You move on to the next play because if you give anybody open the door for them at all, it allows them to get confidence and stuff like that. So moving on from that kind of stuff, staying in the game is the best you can do at sometimes.
Yeah, looking back at that play, I mean, that was an absolutely ridiculous ball there from Nick Retzlaff up to Charles, who nearly slotted it past the keeper. I mean, you got to love seeing him just playing that fox in the box role right there.
Yeah, through the legs too.
Yeah, cheeky little ball there. But when a team's trying to play out like that, I mean, some of the times those quick balls forward, that's the most vulnerable spot. So that was great heads up by him and a great run by Charles. Just missed that final piece of the finish.
Oh, and then right there, Nick being opportunistic again. How about your boy Connor Shinosky playing that far advance up the field that he's trying to hit the volley on the keeper near post?
Keeper talking or trying to take the sting out of the game, one or the other.
I don't think that he liked that he just had two very legitimate chances shot at him within about a 3-minute period.
That could be very much it. Can't imagine any keeper likes that.
No. Yeah, and for anybody just joining us, this is the first iteration of Deja Vu, our match rewind series where we kick it with players and talk about old Kickers games, relive our past glories. It's presented by our presenting sponsor, Absolute Stone Design, who you might recognize from our fresh new 2020 kits. Got it right there behind me. The white jersey is pretty sweet. So we've got a couple pretty key moments from this game coming up in the next 3 minutes and then 10 minutes from now. No spoilers again. If you missed the game, but if you missed the game, why? So, and of course, we're always taking listener questions, or excuse me, viewer questions as well. If you guys got any questions for Mutaya or Kyle or myself, just send them on through. We'll see what we can do about answering them on air. We did have our comment from our team president, Matt Spear, enjoying the game at the pool with a beer. Be kind of curious to see what's my man drinking. Is it an IPA? Probably not a stout. I'm sure it's pretty warm right now at the pool. So maybe keeping it easy with a lager or a pilsner. I don't know. We'll see if he comments again with that.
Got him pinned in, moving it. Good patience here. Oh, the ref gave you guys that one. Wow. Wow.
Oh, center stage right here.
Yep. Mutaya's like, give me that ball. This is a right foot, isn't it? You're looking over this ball as a right foot. Oh, Wahab. Does Wahab want in this? Oh, my goodness. Oh, no. Did he overset that wall, or is that just what the camera angle looks like? Great little ball. Fantastic header.
Oh, and then show all the love to Kickaroo and the Red Army in Section O right there.
It was actually his birthday a couple days ago, right? Kickaroo.
I'd have to recheck on that one.
Wow.
We got a comment from Wahab Akwe.
Wahab knows exactly what he was doing there.
Secretly, he just wanted to power that through the line or through the wall, I think. But hey, it worked out that Mutaya was able to send that on over to Connor Shinowski. I believe that was Connor's first goal of the season that year, or in that game.
Yeah.
What a way to go into the off season as a center back. That's
set pieces, right?
There you go. Let's make a living on that. Defending them and taking advantage of them.
That was the Gareth Southgate special right there.
There you go. Get Harry Maguire up there.
Old flathead.
I think that's one thing we didn't really take advantage of, at the beginning of the season, set pieces.
Any reason why you think? Is it just do you think you guys I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to word that question because you have teams that spend a lot of time on them, and then you have teams that know that they're part of the game, but don't spend as much time on them. Yeah. What do you think about that?
We did actually spend a lot of time on them. We would during training, you'd be like, oh, this guy's gonna take free kicks. Then during the game, then somebody just pops up, I'm taking it. Things like that. Not sticking to the game plan.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I gotcha.
Yeah, I find the new I guess look at your set pieces, especially like your free kicks and your corner kicks, where speaking of Gareth Southgate, a lot of his inspiration when England made that run in the World Cup in 2018 was, he studied basketball and how they drew up plays for, the final minutes of games. Is that something that you've seen as you guys have been playing, any kind of evolution in how different coaches have looked at how they do set pieces?
For me, personally, I watch Sergio Ramos. He doesn't really stick to be in his zone or anything. He just attacks the ball wherever he is. He wants to go to the ball. But we kind of wanted to stick to zones or have this guy here, have this guy here. Then whenever it's not in your zone, you don't try to attack the ball. So I feel like you just gotta go for the ball wherever you are. Just attack.
No, I think Mutaya's spot on. I think you tailor your approach on set pieces towards your players in the sense. So if you have a player like a Sergio Ramos or in a sense, a Cristiano Ronaldo that can attack the ball. You don't really have to have an exact role for him or an exact run. It's just read the flight of the ball and go attack it. Then you can do that. Not everybody obviously has those type of players. So then okay, well, we got to make sure that we hit all the zones that we can possibly hit and make sure that if a ball does get there or a ball does drop, you have a body there that can try to take advantage of it. So set pieces are it's so controllable as far as such a big part of the game. And something that you can have control of both defensively and offensively. So the way I view it is that if you let that little bit slip, then that's something that you could have controlled and now you've chose not to. So
Yeah,
I think the more time you can put into that, it's not going to hurt you. It can only be better. So
for sure.
Yeah, we got another comment from a viewer. Just simply read short corners. What are your guys' thoughts on maybe a more traditional corner kick versus like taking a short corner?
Mutaya, you're the one taking the short corner. So
I know. I think it just depends with what kind of players you have. Like Kyle was saying, like, if you have the Cristiano Ronaldo's, you have Sergio Ramos, you got to put it in the box every time. But, our team were kind of small. So we always wanted to, give ourselves a chance, short corners sometimes. But I knew, the fans were not always a fan of short corners. They would scream, no short corners every time we try to do it. So, yeah, so I think it just depends on, what kind of players you have.
yeah, center backs aren't a big fan of short corners too, especially when they don't get the service in the box after they've jogged all the way up there. So
yeah.
I can tell you that as well. But we might be having something here.
Clean.
That was a shot cross, wasn't it?
I mean, if it goes in, it's a shot. Then if he finds somebody, it's definitely a pass. It's one of those.
Absolutely, man. Shooting it towards that back post. Well done by Charles, though. But you see, like that's the kind of stuff that I was kind of talking about with Orlando City in the sense that sometimes they're undisciplined. Charles didn't do anything like extravagant to get that ball other than and stay alive and their defense, not being aware of that. He's just there. And Charles takes advantage of it, being where he's supposed to be. So.
And
Great.
Another thing, them being a young team, once they get scored on, like the first goal, like you could see, that, everything just changes with them. They think definitely they lost the game, but they still have time to do something. But
exactly. And so that was crucial that you guys found the second goal so quick.
Yeah.
Just like any team, when it's 1-0 or 0-0, anybody's still in it. But as soon as you found that second goal, it does take, especially, closing in on halftime here. It sends a different message. That halftime talk changes as a coach, and just messages for the players, and so that was big in the course of the game.
For sure.
Yeah, and you could kind of see it even before the first goal. It was Richmond was really taking advantage of the possession, and Orlando was just probably hoping to catch you guys on the counter there by sitting back. And so you guys slot that first goal in, and then all of a sudden Orlando's got to start opening themselves up because they've got to try and find an equalizer. So then Mutaya could just absolutely rifle across it, short cross that, the keeper just got stuck watching. He couldn't even react because the ball got to Charles so quickly.
Yeah, no, that's one of those balls. Regardless of the way it comes in, but those balls that are able to get slipped in between the back line and the keeper, so behind center backs and in front of the keeper, no center back likes defending towards his own goal like that, and no keepers aren't sure whether they should come for that or stay on their line and trust their defender. So it's a really, I think, what's the old English phrase? I think it's the corridor of uncertainty. It's a big iffy area for both center backs, defenders, and keepers. So.
Braden Troy, the warrior.
Looking a little winded there.
Yeah. Yeah, so the old adage is the 2-0 is like the most dangerous lead in sports. So when you guys get into the situation like this, Mutaya, what's kind of the idea to make sure that you don't allow Orlando to potentially find that first goal to try and get back into the game?
I think if you're leading 2-0, once you start, right now it's 38 minutes into the game. Then once you start trying to play defense instead of just sticking to the game plan, doing whatever you've been doing, then you allow them to gain a little bit more yards towards your goal, and like they might end up getting another goal. So I think just sticking to the game plan and doing pressing them everywhere, so.
Yeah, and I think the reason the 2-0's the whatever the quote unquote worst lead. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd rather have a 2-0 lead than any lead.
Yeah.
But I think the reason it is because, like Mutaya said, you as soon as you take your foot off the gas and you start thinking about not letting a team back in rather than just staying on the gas and continuing your game plan, that's why it becomes dangerous. Because, like I said, anytime it's a 1-goal game, it's still anybody's game, and so. Yeah. As soon as it becomes 2-1, it's not that the other team might be playing better than you or anything. It's just the fact that now it's a 1-goal game, and that's why that next goal comes, because now that team that gave up the lead is now thinking like, oh crap, how did we give up that lead? And then now you're stuck thinking about the past instead of staying in the present, and so that's how those momentum switches can happen so quickly.
Yeah. And sometimes it just depends in, where the game is. Right now it's 39. If it's like 80th minute, 75th minute, maybe you change the game on a little bit and try to get a 2-0 win, So
absolutely. Game management is crucial. I think right now are probably, I would imagine that you guys are, enjoying the game as far as, you're playing well. But obviously, good game management, making sure that you get into halftime no less than a 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
Well, I'm taking a look at the comments again. We've got a nice little shout out from our team photographer, Jessica Hendricks, who says she's enjoying watching the game with us. Just want to make sure with you guys that you're always tagging Jessica in your photos that you post on social media.
We would, but we haven't had anything to post in a while, so it's not her fault. Like, she's got plenty of photos for us. It's just the fact that obviously we haven't been that active in team stuff so far. So when we get back going again, I'm sure we'll have plenty of content to put up, and she gets all the credit. So
absolutely, it's one of those things where that'll be one extra exercise that we have to do as we get ready to get back into the season form is calisthenics, lots of running, and making sure we're tagging our photos properly.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, we had another comment that popped up from Suzanne Velasco, Braden Troyer, or excuse me, it just says Troyer exclamation, which I think that pretty much sums it up.
Absolutely.
Oh, she also mentions when we do resume games, she wants to start seeing some really good celebration photos. I know this was something we kind of talked about during our media day when I had you guys standing in front of the green screen. Mutaya, are you bringing back the backflip this season, or what's going to be your go-to when he's goals?
If Gigo clears him for it.
Yeah, for sure. The backflip, I don't know. I just don't really plan it. It just depends. Depends on how I feel. If it's worth it, I just do it. So
I'm with him on that. I think that's the hardest thing about media day is like, oh, give us your best celebration, and it's like,
yeah.
I mean, as a center back, I don't score as much as Mutaya does, but when that happens, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. The situation's always different. Is it is it at the end of the game? Is it a winner? Is it a tying goal? Is it does it mean anything at all? Is it the beginning of the game? Like, it just exactly like it changes no matter what. So I give credit to people that can go in with an idea and that can keep that, because I know when a game gets going, great little slip ball here. When a game gets going, there's no way I would keep track of what celebration I was going to do.
Yeah,
no chance.
It's the same thing. It's just I don't know what I'm gonna do. So it depends.
She mentioned Luke can do a backflip. I can see Luke doing a backflip. Absolutely.
Pavone, definitely. I can see that too.
So is he doing a standing backflip though, or is he got to start off with like a round off or a back handspring to get into that? I mean, is he full gymnast?
Mutaya, you got any insight on that one?
Luke Pavone, I've actually never seen him do one, but I'll guess you start off with a cartwheel, then go into a backflip.
Okay, so a little round off backflip kind of thing.
Yeah, just to get the momentum going.
She claims standing backflip. That's impressive.
Oh wow.
Well, I guess if we get Gigo's permission, maybe when we all return to taking some footage of training, that's something we need to find out.
Yeah, I didn't see it I didn't see it at media day, so I didn't see that on the celebration. So a good little counter to the touch lets him down. This game's getting a little stretched, Mutaya.
Yeah. It's back and forth now.
Yeah, Orlando's trying to push, trying to get one before halftime.
Yeah, that's kind of just indicative of that dueling, in-game philosophy. Then, where all of a sudden Orlando's trying to find anything they can do to stretch the game out and start putting you guys under pressure after you had done so much. What's it like when you do have that lead and all of a sudden that team starts changing up their game plan? Is it something that you're noticing in real time, or does it take maybe a minute or two of watching their possession before you realize like how they've changed things up?
Yeah, I think go ahead, Mutaya.
I think in real time it's kind of hard, but if you have leadership in the field, it's kind of easy. I remember in Toronto, we had a game. We were kind of like getting stretched, and we didn't really know at the time. Like it was just like tough to defend and it was hot. Then Connor was on the corner. He just brought everybody back, and just trying to tell us we should try to stay compact and like try to defend from that, not trying to get stretched and trying to defend. So I think it just depends on leadership, because like in the extra time, you don't really know what's going on, and if nobody's gonna take a stamp and say something, then it's just gonna be chaos everywhere. So
yeah, no, he hits it. He hits it off. The leadership and good game management is a big part of that, in the sense of it's easier for center backs to make that call. They see everything, and so I think the natural feeling of it is when a team's able to start really picking passes through lines and stuff, and you feel like the game is in constant transition, that's your biggest telling sign that like we don't have the games on our terms right now. And so I think that's the easiest way to see it. And I think midfielders and attacking players then feel like they're isolated, whether they're trying to go defend and press and they don't feel like anybody's with them because the spaces are too big, or when we do win a ball and we get them the ball, they have nobody around it to support it. So I think those are probably the biggest sells. But yeah, from the back, I mean, I know that I take that as a role as a center back, being able to like, all right, the game's not on our terms right now. We need to get it back compact so then we can do what we want to do.
So at this point, we're pretty deep into stoppage time. Wahab having a friendly conversation with the center ref there.
Got to keep it friendly.
Absolutely.
Wahab always loves talking to the refs. Always.
Yeah, but Wahab's always got a big smile on his face. Yeah. So like it's like I know when I talk to the ref, they don't get that same sense. Like Wahab's always got a big smile on his face, so it's like, oh, this guy can't possibly be mad at me.
Kill him with kindness, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the ref in Tucson didn't think so though.
Oh, you're talking about our game late in the season?
Yeah.
Like I said, I was not well received on that evening. So, nor were your two center backs, apparently.
No, 2 red cards.
That was one of the weirdest games I've ever been a part of, in the sense that there was that many red cards, all to center backs. So it was
crazy game.
It was different, man. That was strange, man.
I'm surprised you guys couldn't get a goal.
You and me both, bud.
Yeah.
I think towards the end of the season, I think that was probably both our teams' issue, being able to get a goal when we really needed it, when you knew we needed, you needed points to keep your playoff hopes alive, and not being able to get that. So
yeah, I feel like sometimes like when there's like too much pressure, like thinking about playoffs and that, like people stop like kind of like having fun, like the game, like you're supposed to have fun. Then when you stop having fun, then it's tough to like be creative in the field, be able to create chances in that. So like that's like the main thing. Like, with us, like, we kind of had this pressure. Like, we have to make playoffs. Then we just stop, scoring. We stop creating chances. Like, it was tough. Like, like the last game, it's just like go out there and do your thing. Like, have fun. Like, So I think it's
Absolutely.
different.
Yeah, I think that's a coach's challenges. Letting your team be free and all that kind of stuff. And then as players, how can you operate at your best? And anybody will always tell you, you got to have fun, you got to be free, and you got to not let that outside noise, whatever it may be at different parts of the season, impact what you're doing on the field. So all that clutter that can get into your mind, that's what affects your performance, both as a team and as an individual. So, and like you said, that pressure of playoffs and, whatever, this or that, that can add to it. And so, it affects it all in different ways. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Well, we will pick up this chat then again on the other side. We've got halftime sponsored by our partners, Bon Secours. We're going to take just a quick break real quick, refill our water bottles here so that way we don't get a dry mouth while we're trying to talk for another 45 minutes. So we'll be back on the other side. Stay tuned with Deja Vu presented by Absolute Stone Design. You are watching the Orlando City B Rewind with Kyle Venter and Mutaya Mwape. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
Most auto insurers love when you have 2 cars, and they love it even more when you have a driveway full, because they get to charge you more. At Elephant Insurance, we believe the more cars you have, the more you save. We call it the Elephant Multi-Car Discount. It's like buying in bulk, and you can save up to 25%. Take control of your car insurance. Quote online today and see what you can save at elephant.com.
When building our home, I knew that the stone was going to be the absolute foundation to our house. I knew it needed to be durable, but also I wanted it to be beautiful. I love working with Absolute Stone Design because their customer service is top-notch, their staff is super friendly, and most of all, they truly care.
Come explore Absolute Stone Design's reimagined showroom, featuring our all-new shower and flooring galleries. No dream home is complete without Absolute Stone Design.
You are the center of a universe. That's what we've learned in 160 years serving our community. Everybody means the world to someone. So when you're in here, or if someday you find yourself in here, and when all you can think about is the world that revolves around you, we'll be a world that revolves around you too. Bon Secours, healthcare for the universe of you.
When building our home, I knew that the stone was going to be the absolute foundation to our house. I knew it needed to be durable, but also I wanted it to be beautiful. I love working with Absolute Stone Design because their customer service is top-notch, their staff is super friendly, and most of all, they truly care.
Come explore Absolute Stone Design's reimagined showroom, featuring our all-new shower and flooring galleries. No dream home is complete without Absolute Stone Design.
Most auto insurers love when you have two cars, and they love it even more when you have a driveway full, because they get to charge you more. At Elephant Insurance, we believe the more cars you have, the more you save. We call it the Elephant Multi-Car Discount. It's like buying in bulk, and you can save up to 25%. Take control of your car insurance. Quote online today and see what you can save at elephant.com.
You are the center of a universe. That's what we've learned in 160 years serving our community. Everybody means the world to someone. So when you're in here, or if someday you find yourself in here, and when all you can think about is the world that revolves around you, we'll be a world that revolves around you too. Bon Secours, healthcare for the universe of you.
All right, everybody, welcome back for the second half of Deja Vu, presented by Absolute Stone Design. The Bon Secours halftime show has concluded, and we are now walking back out on the field for the second half.
Mutaya, do you remember what Dave said to you guys at halftime?
Sorry?
Do you remember what David said to you guys at halftime?
No, really, no.
Nah, no worries.
I think it was just go out there and do the same thing we've been doing pretty much, I think.
Yeah. Nah, solid message. You guys dominated the first half. Stay on the front foot. Keep going.
Yeah.
All right, so seeing some of the comments that came in during halftime, of course, a couple of people suggesting that it was time to head to the beer truck. So I hope everybody is enjoying this Deja Vu with us and having a beverage. I hope you guys are all enjoying it responsibly. I hope it's cool and refreshing. Man, you love to see a center back score. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm kissing up to you right now, Kyle, but it's kind of like when you get to watch offensive linemen score a goal or a touchdown in football. You know, it's not.
It's like those memes that there's a bunch of pictures lined up, and it's just like, explain to me how this got here or this happened. It's just something you don't see every day. So it's one of those anomalies. You know.
Oh, man, now we really got the Red Army showing up in the comments. Love to see it. Unfortunately, so far, Kyle, you've really only been on the receiving end. But Mutaya can tell you the love that you're going to enjoy when we get back out on the field in City Stadium.
Hey, I gotta earn it, man. You don't just – I love the passion, but you got to go out there and perform. You got to earn that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing, though, just knowing they're always there, even when things are not going right, they're always there for you. So, and that's why, sometimes it's tough when you're losing to go out there and just say, hi and stuff. So they're always pushing us. They're like the 12th guy in the field. So.
Yeah, I think that you're spot on that. Go ahead, Nathan.
And speaking of fan atmospheres, we got a question from Emma Bean. She wants to know how the Ford Madison's atmosphere is. The Flamingos up north are heated rivals. Glad to see we built a rivalry in the first year of USL League One, but rivals nonetheless. But what have your guys' impressions been when you've gone up to Madison?
Mutaya, you want to hit it?
I think the first time we went there, like, I was just wowed by, how, like, they're bought into, like, everything. When you're doing the warm-ups, when you're shooting, they're always like, trying to talk, So it's always amazing to play in front of like such a crowd. So it's always good to see.
Yeah, no, I think he hit it on the head. It's an unbelievable thing that they built up there, just in the first year. And so I know, I mean, going to away games last year, I mean, it's easily Richmond and Madison were 1-2 as far as atmospheres and field and just everything that goes into it. As far as all that goes, but I think there's nothing better than Mutaya can probably, say there's nothing better than playing at home at City. But you always appreciate those atmospheres on the road that make it fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think to a certain degree it's maybe a small disadvantage for them just because maybe like a team like us who has the advantage and the privilege of being able to play in front of so many fans and a good crowd all the time, I remember Bulow even telling me one time, like going up to Madison almost feels kind of like a home game because you have the same level of noise and just people watching you. It almost felt like weirdly enough, like a home game.
I think it could.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bud.
No, I was just trying to say, like, I think it depends, if you're used to playing into, like, it's different when you're playing in front of your crowd and when you're playing in front of somebody else's crowd. So if they're with you and they're making all that noise, like, it kind of gives you like an edge to, like, go out and do your thing. But if they're not for you, then it's kind of like, a little bit scary. But if you're used to it, then it's kind of like, something you look forward to. So it just depends.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you go to a place like that, I think what you take from it as an away opponent is the atmosphere is going to be good, so the game's going to be enjoyable. And as far as the energy is going to be high, but you also know that if you don't show up, they're going to be highly energized based on their crowd and being at home, just like any team should be at home. So if you don't meet that energy or exceed it, you're in for a rough couple minutes, if not, an entire game. Because it's once you're in that kind of momentum side of things, sometimes it's tough to get out of. So using your home crowd is massive.
Sure.
And we got a comment from Red Army member Richard Hayes. A reference that's going after my heart as I actually watched the Mighty Ducks last night. He's bitter that we didn't try and set up a flying V and have Troyer score in his last game, but I believe it was in the first minute of the game. Troyer had a real shot at opening up the scoring in this match.
Was he on the end of a? Yeah, that's what I thought it was as well.
Yeah, I can tell you from my vantage point, I would have been up in the press box that you can see there in the top right corner of your screen. Patrick Wood, our director of communications, and myself, we're freaking out because we're like, there is no way Braden Troyer is going to score in his final game before he retires. Is it like, that's the kind of story as a communications professional you're just like praying for.
Yeah, you guys already had that story written, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Oh, we were ready to go. I made my graphic, once a red, always a red. Thank you, Braden Troyer. Like it was the Braden Troyer show that night. I was doing cowboy references to it being his last ride and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, we were definitely hoping for him to find the back of the net, and he almost did it one or two times. And I think they even started letting him take some shots in about the 80th minute, where they're like, "All right, feed the beast here."
Yeah, a little obviously like Kobe Bryant in his last game. Just shoot it. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, and we'll see it at the end of the game too. But as we remember, he got a nice Warrior send off because Braden Troyer is a Warrior. So we'll save that little bit for later. But it was, I think it was a good send off for a guy who was definitely the quote unquote good servant for the club. Braden definitely lived and breathed Richmond the whole time he was here.
Nah, and that's awesome. I mean, anybody that deserves it, it's because it's good to get that good send off. It's well deserved, and you put in all those hours of work in those games and those minutes, and whenever you decide to hang it up, it's obviously not very nice to be acknowledged and have that send off. So that's pretty cool.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you've seen out of Orlando early on here is just like any team down a goal, like they're going to come out in these first 10 minutes and just put their foot on the gas and try and go for it because they're trying to get themselves back into the game. So I think that's why you've seen the game in this. Mutaya, is that you again, bud?
You weren't time wasting in the 51st minute, were you?
Yeah, I think so.
Look, it's that trusty right foot, man. All right, I'll give you that one.
That was a foul.
Yeah, that was a foul. That was a foul. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Well, if I remember right, too, it was deceptively warm. It could have been a little bit of a cramp, right?
No, I just got kicked.
Nathan was giving you an out there, man. Nathan was giving you an out, and you didn't take it. You did not take the lifeline.
Hey, you got to respect the honesty, though.
Hey, I think the only person you say is deceptively warm out there. You got Matty Bolduc out there wearing a long sleeve, or at least he was in the first half.
Yeah,
this guy from the Northeast.
You know what? Maybe I'm just speaking from my perspective, being up in that press box where it notoriously is warm with poor insulation. But don't listen to my crocodile tears.
Yeah, there you go. Mutaya, you're gonna have to answer this question.
Oh, so John Osborne asking favorite Red Army chant, or what kind of chant would you all like to see?
That's a tough one. For me personally, I enjoyed the Troyer chant. I think that was my favorite. That was definitely my favorite.
Yeah, I think I saw Nathan. You guys put up a graphic of Scott Thompson's favorite things about City Stadium, and even that was one of his top 5 favorites. Was the Braden Troyer is a warrior chant.
Warrior, yeah. Definitely my favorite.
See, there we go.
Honesty.
I'm telling you, it was a little warm for October 5th,
I know. I remember that.
Well, we definitely got lucky with Braden Troyer having a name that rhymed with warrior.
Seriously, is there anything better than like that rhymes with? You know what I mean? Like, how do you get a last name that is able to rhyme with something like that? That's awesome.
Yeah, I know, definitely.
Mutaya, is there anything that rhymes with your last name?
Nah, I can't really think of anything right now.
That could be some homework for the Red Army.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. As we continue to sit in this this break right now, that's your guys' homework assignment. Really challenge yourself to come out with a crazy chant. I was actually talking with a couple friends the other day about like goal celebrations, and one of my buddies brought up Piatek's celebration where he kind of does the slide and the finger guns, and I had mentioned that like one of my favorite things that I've ever seen is always player intros. So like you probably remember from Napoli and Juventus, where the announcer yells Gonzalo, and then you hear like 45,000 people scream Higuain. Yeah. So I don't know. I'd like to maybe challenge the crowd to start doing that because I love it. It gives me chills even just watching it on a computer screen. So I'd love to see it at City Stadium.
Yeah, I'll give.
Germany does that too, right? I've heard it with Bayern Munich, I think.
Yeah, a lot of the big
I was gonna say a lot of people have done it. I think obviously it was started in Europe. I know as far as the MLS goes, my first year out of college in LA with the Galaxy, like they did it. I didn't hear it out of anybody else at the time. So I'd like to give credit to them as far as North America that goes. But it is pretty cool. I mean, when the crowd gets into it like that kind of stuff, I mean that's pretty cool.
It's definitely amazing, yeah.
Jump into the Red Army. That's all. Sounds good to me. Jump.
I mean,
Sounds good to me.
That's kind of something that we've got going for us. It's almost like a Lambo leap. It's a little bit of a tall wall to get up to the fans, but if you can get up there, you got everybody crowding around you celebrating.
Oh, we got some rhyme coming in right now. It's pretty good.
Yeah, does Mwape rhyme with Mbappe? Definitely.
They're gassing you up right now, bud.
First goal Mutaya scores. He's running right up to the camera and just hitting him with the
Mbappe lean back.
I'm here for it. Makes my job easier.
Hey, if Mutaya's putting the ball in the back of the net, I'm happy. I'm as happy as can be.
Absolutely.
Slowly getting the game back on your guys' terms.
Yeah, we didn't start good.
Nah,
that might have been that cramp that Zach was talking about right there, pulled up on the throw in.
It could have been. Oh, did you not? Was that Charles or was that you?
That was me.
Oh, you didn't want to hit that?
I could have hit it. I don't know.
Oh, you just didn't want it.
Well, Mutaya knew that he was on his second assist, and he was trying to get that hat trick.
That's true. He was looking for Braden. He was like, "Where is he? I gotta get him the ball."
Oof! Yeah, right there.
Oh, there. I don't know if I've seen somebody cramp up on a throw-in.
On a throw-in.
That's a new one.
That's tough though, because like I was mentioning earlier, I believe that was Zach's first start for the kicker. So, coming in, playing against a team that wants to try and play forward, play fast like Orlando, and him playing all up and down the wing at fullback, it takes a toll. So you gotta respect him for gutting it out, but those cramps are not fun.
Absolutely, especially with the way you guys played Mutaya last year, with the fullbacks getting higher and then having to get back, and with the right back Orlando always trying to get forward. I mean, that's a big ask in that game, just as far as if it is your first start and that kind of stuff, and then having all that goes into it. That's a tough one.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to what we were talking about, just because the transition from training into an actual game, in training he was doing that, then into a game it's something different. So his first start, give him credit.
No, it is. You cannot replicate a game. It's not possible.
Yeah. Zach Perez got a cramp on the thumb.
It was a good throw-in, though. To be fair,
it was.
It led. They switched it out. It led to a chance on the other side. So it was a great throw-in.
Well, we got another comment from team president Matt Spear. It looks like it could actually be worse than cramping on a throw-in. Sounds like a friend of his might have had a muscle tear during a throw-in, which would be no bueno, as they say.
Oh, wow.
No, that wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be fun.
Must have been trying to go for the long throw.
Or the front flip throw. Have you seen that, Kyle?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, we've all.
That's a dangerous.
Matt has seen some stuff.
Oh wow!
Wow! Wow!
I'm surprised some famous PK misses in history. Not to cast aspersions to any of Manchester United's rivals. I'm surprised they didn't maybe claim that when they slipped on a PK.
Yeah, I remember watching that, man. I'm still baffled by that.
Yeah, Zach getting some more love there from Richard Hayes. Yeah, kid had an absolutely great debut there. It sucks getting that cramp though. That never feels good.
Tell you what, this is the smallest wall in the entire world. Oh, you're lucky this is outside. Oh, of course they try something short and nothing.
Yeah, I mean, between Mutaya, was that Riley and then Charles? I mean, you guys
It was Charles, Mutaya, and Greg.
and Greg.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're measuring based on whose haircut is the tallest at that point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you can see here because they're trying to chase that lead now, starting to play with a much higher line themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I mean, if you're able to break any of that, they're extremely exposed in the back. So it works both ways. You try and push the game like that. A good enough team able to deal with that pressure and play out of it can really take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an opposing defense, last thing you want to see is Mutaya streaking up that right side there with a long ball coming in.
Man, they are hacking Mutaya all over this field, man.
Didn't want that hat trick. Feel like we're not giving it up.
Actually,
Now, were you guys playing more of a? Were you playing a 4-back or a 3-back for this game, Mutaya? Do you remember?
we played a fullback in this game.
Okay.
Matt Udog playing as a right back and Zach Perez as a left back.
Oh, you said Bulldog was playing at fullback too?
Yeah. That's like one great thing we have on him. Like, he can play anywhere. Like, everywhere he plays, it's just amazing everywhere. Right back, midfield, right wing, left wing. It's amazing.
Yeah, you love to see a utility player like Matt Bulldog being able to do that. And if I could take a second too to give a shout out to his dog. If you haven't had a chance, follow that Instagram account. Very cute dog. Matt Bulldog loves his dog.
Tyke, man.
Oh, for sure.
All right. So besides City Stadium, what's the best field to play on USL?
I mean, I'll say it's a little unfair because I'll say North Texas, but they've played in FC Dallas's stadium. So I mean, you're playing in you're playing in an MLS stadium that the grass is obviously perfect and everything like that. So, but I think they're moving stadiums this year, so that is now back up in the air, and I think City Stadium's at the top again. So.
Yeah, I believe they converted the old Texas Ranger Stadium for North Texas. So it'll be interesting to see what that stadium's like.
Shortly after they bought it or leased it or whatever, wasn't there like a fire or something?
Oh, really?
That I'm not sure about. I do know that one of the advantages of converting that stadium, though, too, was for the XFL team as well. So it was going to be you're going to have two teams in that stadium with North Texas. And
yeah, very true.
it's like we got my man Josh Hughes coming in as a substitute there in the 64th minute.
Joshy.
Yeah, gotta give a shout out to Josh Hughes. I think low key one of the best senses of humor on the team last year. Very, very dry. I think Kyle
that's the best kind.
Kyle would have met his match riffing with
dry
Josh Hughes.
Dry humor and sarcasm. I mean, like that's it right there.
Absolutely. Oh, Mumu getting some love here from Rachel Ortega. She says Mwape is my favorite player by far with a heart emoji. Love to see it. I guess you got some stiff competition now, Kyle. I mean, you got a lot of love you got to win over here.
I told you I got to earn it, man. I look. I know what's ahead of me. I know there's a mountain out there. I know that. I'm all right. I'll be all right.
I'm sure you will. They're gonna love you.
They'll love us if we win, man. Just like anybody.
Yep. For sure.
Everybody loves everybody when they're winning, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, small insight from the press box. We have a little saying, not if, but when.
There you go.
Because you'd always hear somebody say, well, if we win tonight. No. When we win tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
So when we win, you guys are going to love Kyle Venter, and you're going to continue to love Mutaya Mwape.
Exactly. Love this team.
Big facts only.
Exactly. So, there you go. Braden streaking into the box. Oh, good ball.
Yeah,
Oh.
Second half, he was all over the place trying to get that goal.
I don't mean to keep bringing this up. Our former employer, Kyle, but Richard Hayes has entered the ring here.
Yeah, is he talking about before they went into the baseball stadium or after?
Yeah, I think he's talking about Skyline Complex.
Okay, then yeah, I didn't play on that, but I know I watched the game, so I know what he's talking about. That's why it was so funny.
Yeah.
But what makes it not funny is that even the baseball field looked like that at times, which wasn't. That's what makes it even worse.
Yeah, F&B Field, very, very interesting place to play. We were actually joking, Kyle, that maybe we'd get you on for the Penn FC Richmond Kickers game where Scotty Thompson's free kick actually made Sports Center.
Jeez, yeah. I wasn't playing in that game, so I'm not in that video. Luckily, it's kind of like getting posterized or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
But I was in the stands watching directly behind it. And the movement Scotty had on that thing, he crushed it. So I've been a part of 2 historic free kicks like that. The other one, I don't know if anybody remembers this, it was when I was playing in Tulsa. Aiden Quinn's free kick for Louisville City against Tulsa, which was like a swerving, dipping from about 35 out, top corner. I mean, it was unbelievable. But him and Scotty, I've had to watch 2 of those go into my own net. So yeah, Scotty's got a cannon of a left foot, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
God, I did not expect to see a shout out to Skyline Sports Complex today, but
wow, when you keep, it's almost like when you keep flirting with it, and we keep bringing up NFC and Harrisburg, like it's bound to come up, right? Like
I've seen that team play on 3 different fields because they played when I was a graduate assistant at Millersville University. They played 2 games there, one against New York Rebels 2 and one against Wilmington Hammerheads.
Wow.
They paid me to stat both games. It was those were the first Harrisburg City Islander games I ever saw. One Penn FC at that point, but it's a good time.
Mutaya, was that your pass?
Yeah.
That was a cheeky little pass. Bulldog can't get it past him twice, man. Oh, you set Maddie up on a platter twice. What a cheeky little passer. Watch this. Oh, and then he's like, I'll go again.
I'm thinking that last one was probably more of a cross, but just couldn't bend it past the keeper.
He was trying to do what Mutaya did in the first half and get a little shot cross.
Yeah,
and he just didn't pull it off as well.
Oh well. We'll see if you guys are born politicians here, or if you're going to be rather candid. What's a place that you guys hate playing at?
I'll give you the PC answer a little bit first. Oh wow. Oof. Yeah, see, a little bit of Orlando will give you at times.
And that's Orlando not knowing that Bulldog's not the guy you want to do that to.
Exactly.
They didn't do their scouting report for Matt Bulldog.
No. But yeah, as far as the worst, only reason I'll go to, like I said, we kind of talked about it earlier. The Toronto trip is it's long. It's, there's just a lot of things that go into it. It's not really like playing in Toronto or anything like that. It's more of like everything that goes into it. But I mean, it's still an opportunity to play, and that's what we live for. So it's more of the trip to Toronto. It's not really the actual like act of playing in Toronto. That's for me.
For me, I mean, I love Toronto, so that wouldn't be my worst.
I think
Chattanooga. I hit the turf. I hit that turf.
That's true. Their turf is not good at all.
Yeah, it's like one of the worst turfs I've played on.
They're working on it though. They're putting the money in. They're getting a new stadium. I don't know if it's ready for this year or next year. Nate, do you know?
I think
which stadium again?
Chattanooga. Chattanooga's building. I think it's next year, right?
Yeah, I think they're still putting stuff in. It might be either like a mid-season unveil or 2021.
Hopefully we play them at the end of the season twice on their brand new stadium.
Yeah, fresh grass, fresh sun.
There you go, exactly. No, yeah, that turf looks like it'd been there for about 25 years.
Yeah, worst turf ever.
There's that cut in. Somebody didn't like my PC answer.
John Osborne says he's tired of the PC answers. He wants you to get a little more real. But I think you guys came out pretty strong against Chattanooga's turf, which is
yeah. Mutaya brought it back up. Like I said, it wasn't the fact of like playing in Toronto. Like so, it was more the trip. But Mutaya's right as far as the field itself. Yeah, I agree with him. Chattanooga's turf isn't the greatest. Nope. I don't think anybody will disagree with us on that.
Well, maybe just out of curiosity, taking it north of the border, because you've played for Ottawa and then you guys have both played in Toronto. You know, what's that experience like, either just the weekend that you have to travel across, you know, the border to Canada to do a game, or even from your perspective coming from Ottawa and then playing most of your games in the United States, like, you know, what's that transition like, getting ready for those games?
Yeah, it adds something to it, because obviously you add the stress and all these kind of things, because obviously like soccer's international, so all these teams have international players that have to have visas and all this kind of stuff sorted out. So when you cross these borders, it's all, you know, if that's not in line, it adds to it, whether you're flying or driving on a bus. And so here comes Riley Kraft. There he is. But yeah, I think more of it is just like, you know, when I was part of Ottawa, we bussed down a lot. And then being part of Harrisburg, we had to drive up to Ottawa a couple times. And then last year in Tucson, we flew up to Toronto. We only had to go there once. But I remember a couple of our players just like for whatever reason, the visas weren't lined up right, or something wasn't dotted, or T wasn't crossed. And you end up sitting at the airport for, you know, an hour and a half while they're trying to figure it out. So I think it's just one more thing that, you know, you as an organization, as a team, just have to make sure of.
Oh, got another question for Matt Spear here. You know, how do you guys think League One teams match up with the championship?
Mutaya, you want to hit that one?
I think it just depends with what kind of team you play. Preseason we played what was that team we played, Carl?
We played a few. I mean, obviously we played Red Bulls too. We played North Carolina.
Yeah, I think it isn't really that big of a difference. It's just you know, a little bit more budget, so they have a couple more players, but it's not that big of a difference. We can definitely match up with them. So
yeah, I think when you talk about athleticism and things like that, I don't think that's where the biggest difference is. For me, it's the cerebral part of things. It's the in a sense game management. It's the recognition of things, the way you process a game, all those little things. It's more of the cerebral part of things. There's that left foot, bud.
You tried to bend it there. Yeah, and then maybe jump in on that furthering that USL League One versus Championship conversation, because obviously teams are going to compete in the Open Cup together. You know, what are your guys' thoughts on playing in the Open Cup versus playing league games?
I think you see it in all countries. Like those domestic cups are where a lot of the fun and the surprises happen. And like that line said, you have teams, these younger teams that are not younger, these lower division teams that have nothing to lose. They go in there, they play, and we talked about it earlier. Playing as free as possible. And that's what they do. They come in with nothing to lose, and vice versa. You know, you take, you know, a League One team playing against a championship, or if you make it far enough, an MLS team. I mean, you're going to play free because, you know, no one expects you to win. So you play as free as possible, and you have as much fun as possible and enjoy the moment. And that's the best part about it. So.
Yeah, I think the pressure is always, you know, with the team that is expected to win. I remember when I played for Charlotte, we lost to a PDO team. So if like you're the underdog, you're going into that game, you're always excited, like, you know, trying to, you know, surprise everybody, because everybody doesn't believe you can win. So you're trying to prove something. So, and like Kyle said, you're free, like you're just trying to play, you know, have fun. So like those are always, you know, good games, tough games too.
See, I put it in a glass trying to get away with it. That's a keen eye right there. Right now it's a Sam Adams summer ale.
All right, getting in the mood there. They're starting to get warm.
Yeah.
First real humid week of the year here in Virginia.
Exactly.
So.
It started to warm up a little bit, but
yeah.
I mean,
no stouts.
Being the sporting fan that I am, I can't sit down and watch the game without the correct beverage. So, that's what it takes. But like our president Matt Spear, I'm doing it responsibly.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, I think jumping back on the Open Cup discussion, though, it has a very, very important part of the Richmond Kickers history as we celebrate 25 years winning the Open Cup. Don't know about the rest of you USL League One teams, but maybe you should get one. It's pretty cool. But I think, too, like in Richmond specifically, we've got history of the VCU going deep in the Final Four in March Madness, and that whole like single elimination, like the big dogs can be taken down at any given moment. I think it just has that extra vibe to it, and it feels very American. I know maybe in Europe it started to fall off a little bit, but I think just since we're so used to single elimination, I think in American soccer really, really takes off.
Yeah, it adds to it, right? Like when you play some of these other tournaments in Europe and stuff, and you got to go over two legs. Usually that is, the better team usually comes out in that. But what's great about the American style of things is you get into these single elimination tournaments and these surprises can happen because it's almost like that, any given Sunday, any given day, that's why you set it up. And that's why you play the game is because, you get two teams on a field and you see who's better on the day. And so that's what makes it so great. Love that.
There you go, Kyle.
There we go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll give a shout out to Tabble Brewery up there on the north side, owned by Red Army member. I've had the pleasure of having a tasting beverage once or twice up there too.
See, that's the thing with this whole pandemic. I have not been able to explore Richmond and see things like that quite yet. So I'm looking forward to that once things starting to loosen up a little bit more.
Yeah, Devontae was talking about that yesterday in his interview with Ryan Madden, VP of Communications for the league. Ryan was asking kind of what Devontae's first impressions were of the city, and he's like, well, I've only been here for about 2 months, and we jumped right into training, and so with everything going on, he hasn't really gotten to experience too much yet. I know, Kyle, from us talking, you've gotten to do a couple things here and there, but maybe what's the first thing on your list of things to do when things open up, and then Mutaya, what's the thing that you miss most that you're probably going back to once we start getting back to normal?
I'll touch on it. For me, it's really just being out and around the city, whether it is at like a craft brewery or a restaurant or a coffee shop or something like that. It's just kind of being out, experiencing the city and the vibes that different areas of town bring. And obviously we've kind of been isolated in our own little areas right now. And so being able to explore out and kind of go see those things I'm looking forward to. Nothing specific, just kind of more exploring, really.
All right.
For me, like I just miss going out to eat. Like it's you don't really do it often, but it's good to have that choice that you can go out and eat. Sit down in a good restaurant and eat. So I think I just miss that.
I feel that.
I'm told Kabul is open right now. It's got a huge patio. So
no, really?
There it is. See?
Yeah. If you guys are feeling like you need to venture out, go see some good friends over at Tabble, have a beverage safely. Certainly a good time to go hang out with some Red Army members. Something that we should be doing every Saturday night. So it'd be nice to start doing it again.
Sounds good to me.
Like you were saying, Mutaya, the Richmond scene is just so good for food. It's like, we got
it really is. It is.
Without giving too much free advertisement out. I live relatively close to City Dogs, and we got delivery the other day. And like, as great as it was, there was just something about I needed to be there, and that's what I was missing from the experience. Like, as good as a hot dog is, like I wanted the hot dog while there. So yeah,
it's different, man. You can get as many things as you want to go. It's just not the same when you're there. It's not.
Yeah, no, really.
It's so final, like you have to order your 3 hot dogs or, whatever you want to get, but then you can't be like there for 2 extra hours. And then you have to order again,
Yeah,
so I guess
exactly.
maybe it's good for saving money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there you go. You got another question from John. Mumu, do you got a favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant. Oh, not really. I just like to explore. Me and my fiance, we just try to do different things every time. So
if you were gonna go out right now, where are you gonna go right now? Top of your head.
Right now, that's tough. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I tried.
Yeah.
Is that a PC answer right there? Do you actually know?
No, really, no.
No, I think that's fair. I'll throw myself to the wolves and answer that question. I think specifically 12 a.m. or later Galaxy Diner. I don't want to go at 10 p.m.
It has to be then, right?
It has to be after midnight Galaxy Diner.
Oh.
Callahan platter.
I can throw in, just from what I've tried, Soul Taco was unbelievable. Soul Taco was outrageous. I thought it was awesome.
Soul Taco, if you'd like to sponsor the Richmond Kickers.
or just specifically Kyle Venter.
Yeah, Kyle Venter will be your spokesperson.
Totally good with that.
Where is it at? Downtown?
They have 2 locations. They have like a main one. Yeah, it's more downtown. And then they have another one that's like a smaller version that's in a different area of town. But yeah, there's 2 different locations.
Yeah, the location I went to was in Jackson Ward. Very, very good.
Gonna have to try it.
Yeah, I went out and walked around before all this. Like, I went out and walked around Cary Street, and there were so many restaurants down there that I gotta check out. I mean, even driving to City Stadium right now while we do small group stuff, like, yep. I just see stuff and I'm like, I should try that, or oh, that looks good too, or I gotta try that too.
Yeah, it's crazy how lucky we are with everything that we got going on in the city, and hopefully with everything that's going on, these businesses have been able to stay afloat, because I can't wait to go back to every single one of them. John Osborne right there mentioning Salt and Forge, it's like one of the better breakfast spots in the city. It's right across the street from Soul Taco. Their chicken biscuit is unbelievable. So I mean, you really can't go wrong. Like, just go walk into a restaurant and try something in Richmond, and I think you're gonna be satisfied.
That's what it looks like for sure.
No. Yeah, I swear, my roommates and I, when we want to order something, we just need like a dartboard or like a little wheel of fortune, just spin it, and that's where we're ordering, and we're
there you go. That's a better way to go about it than sitting there thinking and going, well, where do you guys want to go? Because that just never gets you anywhere.
No. I'm the worst when it comes to picking restaurants. I'm the worst.
Oh yeah, I couldn't have. I didn't know that based on your last answer.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, and of course we'd be remiss if we didn't mention just getting some White House rolls from U-Crops. Just perfect, absolutely perfect.
Red Army is just giving it to this guy right now. I've walked past that corner. I know what's going on.
The only time that the Red Army wants to see a short corner is when it's the other team right there, so that way they can yell at 2 people, not 1.
Exactly. They spend more time in the corner.
Well, without giving out, too many state secrets here, but we did announce some stadium improvements. The Red Army is going to be quite pleased to see that one particular pole is not in their viewing way anymore.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I mean, we got to still see these lights in action. We got to see a lot of that stuff still.
Yep. Lots of exciting additions coming to City Stadium that we've announced, and some that we haven't. So stay tuned for that. It's
I see that big pole over there. It's getting late. Love it. Game's getting stretched. Here goes Mutaya. Oh.
Man, what's your pace rating in FIFA, Mutaya? Are you up to like 96, 97?
No, not really.
Depends. Did he create himself, or did you know what I mean?
Well, you just saw right there. That was the Braden Troyer shoot the J right there. Kobe's last game.
Oh, that was Go ahead, let it fly.
Yeah, go on, lad.
Put it in. If I give myself the pace, I'll probably give myself a solid 88.
That's respectable. That's respectable.
Yeah. Bulldog is definitely in the 90s, 92, 93.
Really? You giving Maddie? You're giving Maddie that ranking?
He's fast. He's fast.
Wow.
If you haven't seen it yet, you're gonna see it. He's fast.
I'm not sure I have seen it quite yet.
Yeah, I think we got to give his aggression rating like in the mid 90s too.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. His tackling 99.
Yeah. Well, and I think the couple preseason games that people got to watch, they noticed Ian Antley's got some wheels too that they weren't ready for.
Whoa. Yeah.
I think everybody saw Ian's flexing picture too. So, it works out.
I think Ian and Devontae, they're pretty up there too.
Yeah, you got to think Devontae's got to be the fastest. Like deadline sprint.
Yeah.
Has to be, right?
Absolutely.
He doesn't even try.
No, it's effortless. Like it's not fun. It's not fair. Like coming from a center back, like that's not fair. Luckily, he's on my team.
Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely glad he's on my team. Wouldn't want to play against him.
No, Akir's not very happy with you guys right now.
No.
Akir wants his clean sheet, man.
He's got a handle on it. He would just, like any keeper, he just would rather not face that shot,
Yeah.
Oh, I think we got a question from Riley Wickman asking about Ray's speed rating. Team manager Ray Smetanic.
The only thing I've seen Ray do is tape up his ankle, so I have not seen him in full action yet. Mutaya, have you seen Ray at full stride?
Full speed? No, I haven't really seen it.
Yeah, we'll have to get that out there, get it on film. Running with Ray, we'll get it out there. It'll become a segment.
I think we're as likely to see Ray on camera as we are our director of communications, Patrick Woods. So,
Patrick said he really wanted to be on camera, but you wouldn't let him, Nate.
That's true. That's true. I just wanted to take over being the face of the communications department, and it's part of my plan.
Somebody's got to.
Oh man, I guess our team photographer Jessica Hendricks has been enjoying our HBO Max subscription, making a Looney Tunes reference to Matty Bulldog's legs looking like the Roadrunner.
That again, I have not seen Matty at full go yet, so I'll take myself away from that until I see it before I weigh in on that.
He's fast. I think last year was the fastest on the team. This year it's kind of questionable with Devontae and Ian, so I don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, those two have got to be there.
Yeah. We definitely want to see that rest, though. Ian, Matty Bulldog, and Devontae definitely would want to see that.
That'd be a good one.
Yep.
That's what. Hey, we can do like the Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson the match. I mean, we can do like the run. We'll get a race at City Stadium. We'll put it on the local channel. We'll do it that way.
Bring back the old track at City Stadium and just have them sprint around it.
There you go.
No, I remember when I was first informed that Devontae was joining the team, and I was looking up his highlight tapes to get the press release ready. He really does jump off the screen. I mean, that man's got wheels.
Yeah.
Very much so. little chippiness here, knowing that the season's ending with an L.
Yeah, but you got Braden Troyer coming in, just policing the situation.
You see Wahab being a really nice guy here.
Kyle, you don't know him, Kyle. I'll let you see it. You see it.
Look, I've seen Wahab go into a tackle.
Yeah, he's not really that nice.
Yeah, but then he gets up with like a smile, and then it's like, oh, how much? Oh, yeah,
came in hot on Riley there.
Yeah, that was bad.
I think that was Braden. How you gonna do that to how you gonna do it to that guy in the last? Oh wow, gifting out yellows like it's Christmas.
Well, actually, coming up, there was a small dust up with Braden because Orlando thought he was time wasting, and in actuality, he was walking off the pitch for the last time. And they were like trying to rush him off. It was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I saw Kira get over there, get a little heated. Not very Yogi of him, but leaders got to do what you got to do.
For sure.
Jessica Hendricks saying goalkeepers are a bit crazy.
Couldn't agree more.
I don't know where they get it from. It's certainly not from our goalkeeping coach, Adrian Clulo.
Oh, couldn't be, right?
I'll never forget the first kickers game I worked.
Oh no!
He pulled up to the side of the for the locker room, blasting my favorite Kasabian song, and we just kind of locked eyes. And he knew I knew the song, and we're just like, all right, we're gonna be friends from now on.
Did we just become best friends?
It was just like that, yeah.
It was exactly like that.
Here we go. This is Braden Troyer's send off.
Is this Justin Grove?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
Where's this dust up?
Up some more shout outs to Cluey.
Yeah, Cluey's getting some love.
Oh, they didn't show the dust up.
That's kind of right here. Matty Bulldog. I'll say he's calming things right now.
Matt's like, sir, this is Braden's final game in his stadium. Please walk away.
Sir, do you know who this is?
Yeah.
What player will you miss the most from last year?
Mutaya.
Can I say two?
Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah, we'll take two.
Yeah. Definitely I'll miss Troya. Then I'll miss Chinny. Chinny was
Chinny.
funny, man.
Chinny's a good time. He's a good teammate.
Yeah. He was funny. I miss him in the locker room.
I had the chance to be a part. Chinny was up in Ottawa with me my first year. So yeah. I've had Chinny in the locker room. He's a good dude.
He's also quite possibly the best dresser in the team, would you say?
Look at Akira.
Yeah. Definitely, I think.
Damn, you're giving him the crown?
Yeah, he's got style.
Oh man.
I'll tell you what, I know
that
there's a certain club up north that's been talking about drip a lot the last week. Dennis Chin had drip.
For sure.
Yeah.
He rolled up to like training games. Man had the loafers on, no socks, like the capri pants.
Yo,
glasses.
I'm not gonna harp on that quote unquote drip from the team up north, but
yeah,
that looked like about a 60s or 70s goalkeeper jersey. Like I'm sorry, but like
I might have joked that it looked like an oil spill, but
that could have been it too, man. Like the colors didn't quite mix, like water, oil didn't quite work out. Like man,
hey,
not
teach
sure.
their own. Not everybody can have the 100%. White collar that we got.
Somebody's got to wear it, right? Like, and luckily it's not. Luckily it's not us. So
RVA is red anyway.
Fair enough.
Man, full time. 2-0 Richmond Kickers. What a game.
What a way to go out.
I don't know how long this broadcast lasts, but you might see me like sprinting up the field to try and get a picture of Troyer, but
Nate at full speed.
Yeah, it's Me and Ray might have a good race together. I don't know.
Oh, I'd pay to see that.
Yeah. Office jobs have made us soft.
Yeah, I want to see front office.
Oh, there's Shin right there.
I want to see a front office sprint off.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to end my conversation with my close personal friend Gucci Onyewu in the press box and run down and get some pictures of Braden Troyer. So,
dang, you stiff-armed Gooch.
I mean, we had a pretty good relationship. You know, I didn't know who he was when he walked in, and I just offered him a piece of pizza.
You didn't know who that 6'6", 6'5" massive person was.
I was not aware. And someone looked at me, they're like, how are you so cool talking to him? And I was like,
because I don't know who he is.
The director of OCB. I was just doing my job in the press box. And they're like, dude, this Gucci Onyewu, look him up. And the first thing that pops up is like, did he punch my favorite player of all time? Maybe, I don't know.
Man, I remember I met him down at, so my old a college assistant is like best friends with him. They went to Clemson together. And so he came and watched us play in Orlando last year and obviously introduced me when I was talking to him after the game. That guy is massive. Like I'm a big guy. He's massive.
Yeah.
There's levels of big. I'll just tell you that.
I mean, I've been referred to as a man child, but I felt like just a legitimate child standing next to him.
Yeah. Me and you both.
Yeah. No, it's very, very large man. You can understand why he played the position he played. He's an absolute enforcer.
Of course.
But all right, guys, I think that's going to end our time here. The first iteration of Deja Vu presented by Absolute Stone Design. We got another really cool one coming up for you guys. This is going to be, it's looking like a weekly series. Next week, 2009 USL 2 Championship with two Kickers legends on June 6th, 6:30 p.m. Can't tell you who they are, but they're fan favorites. You guys are going to be pretty excited to watch this game and be stuck listening to me talk as well. So for Kyle Venter and Mutaya Mwape, my name is Nathan Heintschel. Wishing you guys a good rest of your Saturday night.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, go Kickers, up the Reds.
Absolutely.
Most auto insurers love when you have two cars, and they love it even more when you have a driveway full, because they get to charge you more. At Elephant Insurance, we believe the more cars you have, the more you save. We call it the Elephant Multi-Car Discount. It's like buying in bulk, and you can save up to 25%. Take control of your car insurance. Quote online today and see what you can save at elephant.com.
When building our home, I knew that the stone was going to be the absolute foundation to our house. I knew it needed to be durable, but also I wanted it to be beautiful. I love working with Absolute Stone Design because their customer service is top-notch, their staff is super friendly, and most of all, they truly care.
Come explore Absolute Stone Design's reimagined showroom, featuring our all-new shower and flooring galleries. No dream home is complete without Absolute Stone Design.
You are the center of a universe. That's what we've learned in 160 years serving our community. Everybody means the world to someone. So when you're in here, or if someday you find yourself in here, and when all you can think about is the world that revolves around you, we'll be a world that revolves around you too. Bon Secours, healthcare for the universe of you.